Now we go to the NFC. I have an over and an under bet in the same division. So Eagles 11.5, that's about right. I'm going to take the over on the Commanders and the under on the Cowboys. So listen, Jayden Daniels is the real deal. I just talked to somebody, a friend, who was at an event Jayden Daniels was at in the last couple of weeks. The kid's unbelievable. They spent money, the coaching, 9.5. I mean, they're going to go 2-0 against the Cowboys and 2-0 against the Giants. So I think the Commanders is, 10-7 with the Lamar Jackson of the NFC at quarterback. Shock anybody? Also, the Cowboys, I would bet the under. I don't think anybody's quite embracing. Brian Schottenheimer, to me, had struggled to remain at the same place as a coordinator. I think they went cheap. They also got to pay Micah. Again, this is a team that's a CeeDee Lamb sprained ankle from, being fairly weaponless. I would take the under.
Okay. First off, can we please stop calling Jayden Daniels Lamar Jackson of the NFC? He is the Jayden Daniels of the NFL. So just please stop with that. Just stop. He's the Jayden Daniels of the NFL. Yeah, to think that they're not going to, win more games or at least the same amount of games as they did last season with a rookie quarterback, with a roster that was clearly incomplete. It's kind of crazy to me, quite frankly. I don't know how you would expect them to not, unless you're really a firm believer in the whole sophomore slump and, et cetera, et cetera. All people are going to have Jayden Daniels figured out. Okay, what do they have figured out? That he's a great passer, a great runner, knows how to execute an offense, really poised and comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Like, what did they figure out? What will they expose Jayden Daniels with? I don't see it. The only way they win under 10 games is if Jayden Daniels gets banged up, But Cliff Kingsbury understands Jayden even deeper now. Jayden Daniels understands Cliff Kingsbury even deeper now. I've been banging on this drum every single offseason Washington Commanders video about the defense. The defense is going to significantly improve. We know Dan Quinn is an awesome defensive mind. And he is the one who runs that defense. When you are a Dan Quinn and you are the head coach, it is your. I don't care who the coordinator is. It's Dan Quinn. That's how this works. That's how this works. And Dan Quinn has consistently built top defenses in the NFL. You just got to give him a minute. You got to give him the pieces. You got to give him the draft. You got to give him the free agency. It's going to take a second, and he's going to do it. He's going to do it. It's maybe not going to be as great as in year 2 as it will be in year 3 or 4, but he's going to do it. And so when you get a significantly better defense and combine that with Cliff Kingsbury and Jayden Daniels, again, I don't care who's on your offense. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. You're going to win games. You're going to win games. So I talked about this when they were kind of talking about some of the predictions with the Commanders and the Eagles, and to me, it's going to be interesting to see when do the Commanders and the Eagles play one another. Because I could easily see the Commanders beating the Cowboys and the Giants, 2-0, but it's always tough. A team like the Cowboys and even the Giants for that matter, it's like, how did the Commanders lose to the Giants against, it wasn't even Russ. It was, Jameis Winston threw for 450 yards and 9 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. It's like, how did that game happen like that? So the NFL is always crazy like that. But to me, it's more about when do the Eagles and the Commanders play? Are they going to have a week 1 game? Is it going to be a week 8, final week of the season game where it doesn't really matter? How are they going to try to manipulate the schedule for excitement? Week 1 rematch, let's go. Or is it going to be near the end of the season, final game, because they hope that game's really going to matter like it mattered with the Vikings and the Lions? They love that. The NFL, that was a home run for them. They were like, oh my God, we get another extra standalone playoff game that has massive implications at box office. Everyone gets to talk about. It was a playoff game. It was a literal playoff game, but it was just a regular season game. And when you compare that to some of these other games, like the Eagles, I think they played the Giants in their final game of the season. Nobody watched that. That didn't matter. Nobody was playing in that game. I don't remember who the Commanders, but there was just so many nothing games. That game was box office. The Eagles, they would love to, the NFL would love to have that. Do they do something like that? But then does it actually not matter? because the Eagles already have the division wrapped or the Commanders already have their seeding locked, and it doesn't matter. So to me, I'm curious when they actually play one another to try to figure out, will they go 1-1 again, 2-0, what's the situation here? I also think if you're playing earlier on in the season, I think the Commanders' offense has the potential to be start off smoother, because there's going to be a little bit more continuity there. The Eagles have to integrate a new offensive coordinator. There could absolutely be some growing pains there, some a little ups and downs in the beginning of the season. Definitely possible until they kind of get situated in their own right. But yeah, I think it's a safe bet to have the Commanders win more games. Yeah, will their schedule technically be tougher? Sure, but do I think the Commanders are more than capable of handling it? Yes. Do I believe that they've already gotten better just from a roster construction, better offensively and defensively? Yes. You have the draft. I imagine they're going to get better after the draft as well. I also imagine that Jayden Daniels, at a minimum, will be just as great as he was last season, this season. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure he's going to take at least a step forward. What will that step forward be? I don't know, because he's already so special that theoretically he only has so much more room to be even better. You can't, like, you would expect someone like a Drake May will probably take a bigger step forward than Jayden Daniels because he's got so much more room to kind of grow. Jayden Daniels is already playing like near peak level. Like, he's already so insanely special. And so it's just like, it's fascinating to think about, like, what more is there, like what is kind of that next level, and really the next question mark is how consistent can he be. It's not so much like how much greater can he be, it's like, he's already kind of reached this point, can he now just maintain it, like that. That's how when you're truly elite. It's not just kind of like, oh, I can be really great some of the time. It's no, I can be great most of the time. So that then also remains as technically another question mark around Jayden Daniels and this Commanders team. But I just can't imagine that second year with Jayden Daniels, with Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury, having that continuity with a lot of foundational, even just offensive pieces like Zach Ertz, etc. Upgrading on defense as well. The defense will, without a shadow of a doubt, from my viewpoint, will be legitimately better. That you're going to win less games than you did last year. I struggle to see how that's possible. I do. I struggle to see how that's possible. Unless Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys are just rolling, baby. Dak's just got that team. Schottenheimer ended up being just the hire of the century, and the Cowboys are rolling. They're 12-0. I guess maybe. And I do think the Giants will be better with Russ and Dable. Like, I do think that that's an interesting team. So when I said, I might have spoke too soon about saying, oh, they'll go 2-0, like Colin, I potentially jumped on that with Colin. I do think that those games have potential to be a lot harder, potentially. It's a question mark and still a working theory that I have with the Giants of being better with Dable and even Russ and stuff like that. But I still think that the Commanders are clearly the better team and should, even with a better functioning team with like Russ or whatnot, they should still come away with those wins. But I don't know if they're just like easy, just guaranteed, wins necessarily, like they would have potentially been in the past. And that's also for the Eagles as well. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders being undervalued so far going into this next season? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.